Well, a new Smash Bros. Just got announced. Guess we might as well talk about it. I firmly believed that we weren't going to get any large announcements during this most recent Nintendo Direct, seeing how we're just a few months away from E3 and most of the recent Directs never had anything this huge, but lo and behold, I was proven wrong. While there was little shown off during this teaser, I do feel as if there is a lot to talk about here. We all knew that we were getting a Smash Bros. On the Switch, we just had no idea whether or not we were getting an enhanced port or a fresh new installment. Thanks to the teaser, the answer is now a bit more obvious as there's plenty of evidence confirming that this is a new game. I'm sure that you heard all the reasons as to why this is a new game, so I'll keep this one brief. 1, the logo is different than the Smash 4 logo by a large portion. 2, the game doesn't have an official title. If this was going to be a port, then they would have said it, and also we would have had gameplay showed off. 3, Link's design is that of Breath of the Wild, but we're going to put a pin on him. We're not quite done with him yet, but we're going to talk about that later on. 4, if you listen to the faint music that plays in the background, you can tell that this is a brand new piece and not a remix of the Smash 4 theme. Granted, we still have no concrete confirmation on whether or not it's a new game or a port, but the evidence does point to it being a new game. And I'll be honest, I was actually dreading a Smash announcement because I was convinced that we were going to get a port of Smash 4, which you're going to learn why I'm not a huge fan of that game later on in this video. Given how Nintendo has a fetish for porting over almost every single Wii U game they can, it seemed inevitable that they would port over Smash, but again, that doesn't look to be the case, and I honestly couldn't be happier for that. Since this is most likely not a port, it can fix some of the major and minor issues that I, and others I'm sure, have with the game. And really, the things that I want out of a new Smash game mostly boils down to making improvements over the shortcomings of Smash 4. The first major improvement is that it's not going to be a game that's being held back because of another version on inferior hardware. We all know that the Wii U version was pretty much gimped because they wanted to make it equal on some parts with the 3DS. Not once while I was playing Smash 4 on the Wii U did I ever get the feeling that this game was living up to its fullest potential. Something about this game just always felt off. It was missing something. Now with nothing holding this new game back, save for the system's own limitations, Sakurai and his team can now milk the Switch for every ounce of power that it has. It's a safe bet that the Ice Climbers are going to be coming back, who were originally cut because they couldn't work properly on the 3DS, but it's also possible that we can see some of the assist trophies that were cut before brought back. It's a small thing, but it is something I would like to see nonetheless. Speaking of small, we're going to start there and then work our way up towards the more important stuff. I know this sounds pretty minor, but let's get better menus this time around. Love or hate the game, you can't deny that menu navigation is a huge chore in Smash 4. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Look at the menus for Brawl or Melee. They're simple, it's easy to navigate, it takes you where you need to go. I get that they want to be stylistic with the menus in Smash 4, but practicality should come first over flash and pizzazz. This next one's a no-brainer, but an option to turn off the stage hazards. Smash 4 introduced the Omega stages, which is something that I wholeheartedly welcome, but fighting on a flat platform gets old after a while. One of the reasons why I really only ever played on the Omega stages was because the gimmicks in most of the other stages were just too much for my taste. This is something that the fan game known as Super Smash Flash 2 implements, and it works perfectly. So why not have an option to play the stage normally, play the stage without any gimmicks or hazards, and then play it on Omega? It's a win-win-win solution. This is an option that I'd also want to be able to use online against random opponents as well. And I only bring this up because a lot of the content that you get in Smash 4 you can only use with friends, on or offline in some cases. You couldn't pit your amiibo up against other strangers, or you couldn't use your Miis, and you couldn't use your custom moves against random opponents online. That's why I would like to see some sort of custom online mode, where you can use all of these features against strangers online. And why just stop at fighting? Why not give us an option to fight on custom stages too? Would it be chaotic? Yes. Could it be possibly incredibly offensive? Absolutely, but for a lot of players, that's where they get their fun.
We want to see Jay lose his shit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh my god!
Now, I speak for myself when I say that adding these features will give me much more mileage, as someone who doesn't really have any friends who live around me. I will get all these neat costumes for my Miis and gear for my amiibo and all these custom moves. I would get all of these neat little tools, but I would have no use for them. Also, if we can have a voice chat feature that doesn't require a phone app, that'd be great as well. You can argue all you want about having Skype or Discord or whatever you have, and having a voice chat option is useless nowadays, but this is something that most online games have. I just don't want this game to be behind the curve in that regard. On that note, better online is a must. Seeing how Switch owners are going to have to pay for online sometime later this year, there is no excuse for this game to have a poor online. Brawl and Smash 4 both have horrible online. In the case of Smash 4, it's really only when you're playing with multiple people. I found that if you're playing 1v1, it works just fine, but anything more than that, then you're getting 1 second worth of input lag. In 2018, and having to pay for online, that is unacceptable.
The game is incredibly solid, it's just the online multiplayer is not...
Oh
Well, I
my
never had this happen in
lord.
Smash Flash 2, I'm just saying.
Actually,
Look at
right.
this slideshow.
Oh, perfect timing.
I also feel that most can agree that the single-player content in Smash 4 was, lacking, to put it nicely. Sakurai stated that the reason why there isn't a story mode in Smash 4 was because he was upset that the cutscenes that the team worked on got leaked on the internet. And I understand being upset over that, but we could still have an adventure mode and not have it be story-driven. I would like to see something in the style of Melee's adventure mode, just fleshed out a bit more. No matter how many times you play through it, you'll always start at the Mushroom Kingdom, then go to the Zelda dungeon, then go through Brinstar, and then you go to Kirby, and then Star Fox. It's a linear adventure. Now, granted, I don't think there's anything wrong with linearity, but if we're going to have the same amount of characters as Smash 4, or God forbid more, then they would need to shake this up a little bit. You can have characters start in a level that's themed after the franchise that they're from. For example, Mario characters can start in the Mushroom Kingdom, Zelda characters can start somewhere in Hyrule, etc, etc. You get the point. And then they have to make their way to the final destination from there. But you get to choose how you get there. There could be splits in the path that can lead to unlockable trophies, costumes, custom moves, maybe even unlockable stages or characters, who knows. This way, if we were to have 60 plus characters in the game, each playthrough would be different enough. You'd always be finding something, or you'd be making some sort of decision as to where to go. As for the other modes, I would like to see a more traditional break the target mode like in Super Smash Bros. 2 or in the other Smash games, and a classic mode similar to Smash 64 or in Melee. In those games, you would go up against fighters, but then you'd have like a mini challenge in the form of landing on platforms or racing to an exit. It's something other than fighting opponents and fighting other characters that can keep players on their toes. And, well, you really can't make a video about Smash Brothers without addressing the most important thing. Okay, so before getting into the nitty-gritty about who I think will get in versus who I want to get in, I want to start with this. I want each character in each franchise that's being represented to be treated with the same amount of love and care. Now, what exactly do I mean by this? Take a look at all the remixes that Mega Man got in Smash 4. Now compare the amount of new remixes that Sonic got. You know, you can make that joke, Sonic sucks, that's why, You're not making a good point. Because you also look at Cloud. There's 2 songs, neither of them are remixes. Hell, they couldn't even be bothered to give him an English voice. I'm sorry, I know that Sakurai works hard and I have nothing but respect for the guy, but that's just lazy. This applies strongly to the Zelda series and how it's represented. It's had the same roster ever since Melee. It's Link, a different version of Link, Zelda, Sheik, and Ganondorf. There was a lot of demand for characters like Midna, Skull Kid, and Girahim to be in Smash 4, but at the end of the day, they were just assist trophies. When they see franchises like Pokemon and Mario getting a lot of love and attention, and even Fire Emblem that was getting more attention than the Zelda series, fans justifiably started raising their voices. Thankfully, it looks like things are changing now that we're getting Champion Link from Breath of the Wild. Some can say that this is just an alternate costume and that he's going to play like how he always does, but Sakurai doesn't always often go the extra mile with alternate costumes. This is the same guy that thought that Dr. Mario and Dark Pit should just be their own characters. Now that I said that, because I forgot to put it in the script, if we can just make Dr. Mario and Dark Pit, Lucina, if we can just make them alternate costumes and give a character like Samus actual alternate costumes, like how they have in, like how she has in Project M. You know, she has like the light suit, the fusion suit, the dark suit. If we can get those alternate costumes and, you know, that kind of attention to detail for other franchises, I think that would be really cool too. So I just, you know, completely unscripted, I do apologize, but I would love to see that. My little tinfoil hat theory is that Link will be getting a new moveset that's based around Breath of the Wild, and the other version of Link that we're going to have, it could be either Young or Toon Link, will play as a combination of both Links from Smash 4. It's possible that Zelda and Sheik can stay the same as they are, but then that leads us to the big bad Ganondorf. A complaint that many fans, myself included, have with this character is that there is so much they can do with this character, but at the end of the day, he's just a clone. This is how I would like to see them fix this issue. You replace Smash Ganondorf with Black Shadow. It makes sense for one of the villains from F-Zero to play in a similar fashion to Captain Falcon. Then you can make Ganondorf into his own character with a completely new moveset. You don't want to give him a sword because we got too many sword users? Well, don't forget that he can use magic as well. There was an excellent mod for Project M that shows how a dark magic Ganondorf can work. But aside from that, the big thing that I want to see in Smash, and this is easily my most controversial, is that I want to see a less predictable roster and for some more unrepresented IPs, some more irrelevant IPs, get some love. So let's start with that first, the predictable roster. I'm going to go into who I think is pretty much confirmed for this new game and explain briefly why I feel so. Granted, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt because I don't know anything for sure. These are just my predictions based off of the roster of something like Smash 4 and, you know, that kind of mindset that Sakurai had when picking characters for that game. So, and again, we still don't know who's going to be in the game for sure, so don't get your hopes up or don't call me an asshole. This is who I think. This is just my predictions for who is going to be in this new game. Here we go. So we got the Inklings. Duh, I don't think anyone was surprised by this. We were all aware that they were going to be in a new Smash game. Again, like, the whole surprise of this trailer was more so, oh my god, we're getting a new Smash game. I don't really think there was a lot of people, I don't think there was a lot of people that were surprised that the Inklings were going to be in Smash because it's Splatoon. Splatoon is big, and Nintendo's going to want to milk it for all it's worth. On that note, a character from ARMS, who I don't know because I don't really know that much about the game itself. But it's a new IP, similar to Splatoon. They're going to want to capitalize on it. Even though I don't think it's doing nearly as well as Splatoon popularity-wise, but, you know, still, they're going to want to show it off. Either Decidueye from Pokemon Sun and Moon, or one of the starters from this new unannounced game. We know that, you know, Greninja was going to be in the game even before we knew what Pokemon X and Y was. He was sent concept art, and that's the one that you picked, and also Greninja has a lot of relevance in the anime, so there's that too. Decidueye is a fan favorite. He's also in Pokken, or it could be the fan favorite from this new game that was confirmed to be in development for the Switch. Either Captain Toad or Pauline, or we might get both. It's Mario, so of course they would. Lyn from Fire Emblem, she is insanely popular in Fire Emblem Heroes. She's also in Fire Emblem Warriors. She's been an assist trophy in Brawl, and I also think she's an assist trophy in Smash 4 as well. She's always been a fan favorite as well. I'm like 99% confident that she's going to get in. If I'm wrong, I will eat a shoe if I'm wrong. That's how confident I am. But this one, I'm not 100% certain on. But we really don't know who's going to be the third party support, but I'm going to put my money on Crash. Because they want to put that final nail in PlayStation All-Stars coffin, because they don't want that kind of competition anymore. Plus, the Insane Trilogy, that's a thing on the Switch now, and they're going to want to try to have that kind of big icon thing that they had going on with Smash 4, where it's like it's Mega Man, it's Sonic, it's Mario, Pac-Man. They're going to want to have Crash in on that as well. It's also not Sony anymore, even though people relate Crash to Sony. It's Activision. Activision is technically a third party. They're going to want to get Activision in on that to get Crash in that game. So, you know, I think Crash is pretty much confirmed at this point. And Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, he's a new character from a franchise that's getting more and more popular by the day. Again, this one is an obvious choice. Granted, some of these, while obvious, I think are good choices. But I also think that these are incredibly safe and they just don't excite me. which, as you'd expect, it was a problem that I had with Smash 4. Like, of course they'd add the Villager. New Leaf was a huge success. Of course they'd add someone from that new Fire Emblem game. It pretty much revived the franchise. A new Mario and a new Pokemon character? Just another Tuesday. Pac-Man is in it? Well, gee, it's totally not because the game is being worked on by Namco Bandai. No, that couldn't be it, right? Now, that's not to say that there wasn't any surprises in the game at all. Little Mac was a genuine surprise, and while I knew they were going to add someone from Fire Emblem Awakening, I wasn't expecting it to be Robin. Shulk's inclusion is still pretty obvious given how the series was picking up some momentum. There was a game coming on the new 3DS and on the Wii U. The series was still pretty small. I didn't really think Nintendo would look at that series and be like, yes, we're putting you in Smash Brothers. And I'd have to say it, Cloud was easily the character I was most excited for and took me by complete surprise. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm older and I'm more skeptical, but the magic of Smash is just gone. It's like there's a new game that gets announced, it's being published by Nintendo, and I look and I'm like, oh, well, I guess that character's going to be in Smash one day. It's hard for me to get excited for new characters when it's so obvious now. When I think of characters that I would want to see in Smash Brothers, I don't even take relevancy into consideration. It's not even about what kind of characters I'd want to see, but more so what kind of weird games that Nintendo has hidden under their rug can be shown off and be brought into the mainstream. You all know Isaac is the character that I want to be playable in Smash Brothers. If I can only have one, it would be him. He has a lot of potential with his earth-based magic attacks and his Jin. He doesn't even have to use a sword, that's how versatile he is. Plus, it would also put Golden Sun into the spotlight, potentially increasing demand for more games, which, you know me, is something I can get down with. Chibi Robo is another character I would love to see in a Smash game. He can use, like, household appliances as attacks, like a toothbrush, or a cup, or a spoon. He actually is a playable character in Super Smash Flash 2, and I feel as if Chibi's moveset in that game is incredibly faithful to the GameCube one. Jo from Drill Dozer would be an excellent out-of-left-field character. She can use her drill in a number of ways in the game that she's from, so why not implement that into a fighting style? Plus, she was an assist trophy in Brawl, so there is a 3D model of her that does exist, and Sakurai knows who she is and where she comes from. Why not give the Wars series some love? It was because of the success of Advance Wars that gave Intelligent Systems the idea to localize Fire Emblem. That, and also the curiosity of Marth and Roy in Melee. Plus, you still got people who are upset that Snake isn't in Smash anymore. So why not give a character like Sammy, for example? Why not give her a spin of Snake's moveset? A Sin and Punishment character would be excellent, and if we can also get a stage based off the Waterway level from the Wii game, that would be great too. You could be on a platform, and various sea life and marine vehicles can try to shoot at you. A character from the Custom Robo series would be incredibly unique in my opinion, seeing how the whole premise of the game is customizing your character to fight the way how you want it to. Why not have a stage based off of Wave Racer, for example, where there's a platform on the water that's affected by the current of the water and the motion of the waves, and the racers can dash past the platform, causing the water to react in such a way that can throw the fighters off balance. Or how about a stage from Doshin the Giant, where Doshin can just walk around and terraform the environment while you fight. He can create platforms or destroy hazards or something like that. Or how about a stage based off of Eternal Darkness? Come on, don't lie to me and say that you wouldn't want that, because we all want that. Even if you don't know what Eternal Darkness is, you know you want it. Maybe even an assist trophy from Geist, of all things, where John Ramey can possess items that are laying around on the battlefield and then use them on your opponents, or does something that locks them up in place or paralyzes them with fear. But I know that none of these things would happen because these games, these IPs, they're not relevant anymore. There's nothing profitable about them. It's not what would make for cool ideas or neat mechanics, but more so what's marketable. And maybe that's how it's always been, and I was just too young to notice. So that has me look back at what I want, and it makes me ask, if this is all that Smash is, if it's not about neat ideas, but marketing your games, then what chance does someone like Isaac, who hasn't had a game in, at this point, almost 8 years, what kind of chance does someone like that even have? But then I remembered something. Oh, man. Oh, God, the Smash ballad. That takes me back. So you might be wondering, what exactly does this have to do with anything? Well, take a listen.
We won't be able to accommodate every request. But Mr. Sakurai and the rest of the staff will take each request into consideration when developing additional fighters.
I always thought it was weird how someone like Bayonetta, a character whose inclusion I do like, by the way, I just want to make that clear, I always thought it was weird how she went over the likes of King K. Rool, a character who's been in demand since Melee, and who also had a lot of backing in the fighter ballot. But maybe characters like K. Rool, like Wolf, like Snake, like Isaac, like the Inklings, maybe these were all characters that were planned to be in Smash 5 this entire time. I mean, maybe that explains why they're not really in this game. Maybe they were saving these characters to be in Smash 5. Granted, that's just another one of my many tinfoil hat theories, but it does give me hope that someone like Isaac has a chance to be in this new game, given the amount of support he had during the ballot. But with all of that said, I'm going to do what I can to keep my expectations grounded. I don't know if you caught on, but Smash 4 was just a bit of a disappointment for me. These things can very well happen. They probably won't. You never know until the game comes out. But then again, this game was only announced a few days ago, and we still have a few more months before E3. And just before clarification, because I don't want anyone spreading some kind of shit, I ain't going to boycott this game if it doesn't have any of the features or characters that I want, because at the end of the day, this is just stuff that I want to see in a future Smash game, in a future new installment. These are things I want to see at one point. Just keep in mind that this video is completely subjective, and I made this knowing that what I want is completely different than what most people want. I don't really want a whole bunch of Mario characters on the roster, but I know other people are going to disagree with me. I'm just here to throw my 2 cents into the ring and to get a discussion rolling. So with all of that said, what kind of new features would you like to see in a potentially new Super Smash for this game? Which character do you want? Or which character did you vote for but didn't make it in? Let's talk about it. But either way, I'm Ryan. Thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you around.